Dear class of 2020, hello, welcome back. I've missed you. When I was told that you had selected me to be your graduation speaker, my initial response was that I was deeply moved. An instant later, however, I did wonder, couldn't y'all have just sent me flowers? Or donuts? You see, I've spent a great deal of my life avoiding the spotlight. I insisted on being married in a courthouse and told everyone that the court could only fit immediate family, even though that wasn't true. And you know how in my classrooms I have y'all work in teams? I know I say it's because collaborative learning is good pedagogy, but the truth is that I just can't stand the idea of having y'all look at me for a long period of time. But like many experiences that push you out of your comfort zone, there is something that I've gained by going through with this. By asking me to speak to you today, you gave me the gift of setting aside time to reflect on my own graduation and what has happened since. You gave me the time to think about and connect with the people who took that journey with me. This was a real gift, and I thank you for it. Did you know that I was class of 2000? At the start of my senior year, Y2K was looming. For those of you who need a refresher, Y2K refers to potential computer errors that were expected when we moved from 1999 into calendar year 2000. It was projected to be apocalyptic. My class at Swarthmore went into our senior year thinking that Y2K would end the world, and we were wrong. We graduated on a sunny day, right on time, and to be honest, it was slightly anticlimactic. 20 years later, you entered your senior year, and, well, I guess that the havoc we thought that Y2K would bring just showed up 2 decades later. I know it wasn't my fault, but still, I want to say, I'm sorry. But let's back up a bit to where I graduated 20 years before you. Thinking about that made me wonder what I've learned in those 20 years that I could possibly share with you today. I've got 3 things. First, I learned that I do not need to do it alone, nor should I. Getting insights from others is important. It's also important to just get out of your own head from time to time. And when you need to get out of your own head, I strongly recommend watching Grey's Anatomy. With 18 seasons, you are bound to find something to help you in your moments of need. For me, Meredith Grey and Christina Yang remind me to dance it out from time to time, and that it's important to have a person, or maybe even several persons. These are people who will show up for you when you really need them, and who can give you advice when you've been asked to speak at a graduation. The people I found myself turning to were all at my own graduation. Most were my classmates, and here are their thoughts on this auspicious day. Supriya wants to remind us all that admitting you were wrong is hot. She even properly cited Instagram for that quote. Anita shared that she doesn't really remember our graduation day speeches, but she's pretty sure we were there because we have photos of ourselves on that sunny day. So I think the takeaway is make sure to get some evidence of this day, because even though it was a long time coming, it's surprising how much of it you will forget with time. Sonali wants me to remind you of the Tolkien line, not all who wander are lost. Just like it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to meander a bit too. Rena wisely notes that not everything needs to last forever, and your goals and values can change. Forever does not need to be the goal, and some things can last just a season and still be meaningful. And my mom, well, she has some of the best advice of all. Be kind and be nice. Wow, that's a lot of advice. Do you need to listen to it all? Will you listen to it all? Maybe not. But there's something beautiful about the hubris, ambition, and optimism of youth, and you should not let go of that. But this brings me to my second lesson learned. Throughout life, you are going to be getting a lot of advice, and it's often going to be contradictory. But at the end of the day, you need to do what brings you joy, and only you can know what that is. But note, when I say joy, that's different from just playing it safe. I recently read that the majority of things that people regret are the things that they didn't do. Some of the things that I have most regretted are indeed the things that I said no to because I was scared that I wouldn't do them well or that I would actually fail. Jen K, fitness instructor to the Bold and the Beautiful, which she repeatedly says includes me, reminds me that to compare is to be unhappy. The first time she said this to me, I thought she was talking about comparing how long people could hold their planks. But I've come to realize that wisdom should be applied to all aspects of life. In her classes, I would always grab the 8-pound weights. Each time, she'd come around and replace them with the 10-pound weights. But you know what? I never left her class regretting that I should have pushed myself more. We all need a Jen K in our lives, someone to push us. Even better, we should all make a pact to cut down on the self-conceived limitations we put on ourselves, because we can all do a lot, because we are awesome. Okay, final lesson. You are going to have a lot of opportunities. There may be many options when it comes to finding joy and not playing it safe. So how do you choose? What I've learned to do is choose those that will help others and maybe even bring others joy. When we moved online in 2020, there was no question for me that I would keep teaching. Teaching is one of those things that brings me joy. The question was how to shape my newly found online classrooms. There were a lot of choices that had to be decided in a short amount of time. But each of them found its answer in what would help you the most. What could possibly bring you some joy in that very dark time? And the results weren't that bad. I mean, the experience still paled in comparison to face-to-face learning, but it didn't totally suck. And in fact, some parts might have actually been pretty good, if I do say so myself. And I learned so much about teaching, really teaching, that has forever transformed the way that I approach teaching, whether in person or online. Turning to you, those of you who are 20 years my junior, for motivation was one of the best things I've ever done. And that is what I suggest you do too, when faced with your many future choices. What will make things better for those who follow in your footsteps? Follow that lead because it can result in great things. I said I had 3 things, and I've laid them out, so you know we're nearing the end. The big elephant in the room, however, is that big C word I have yet to mutter. Okay, I'll say it. COVID. A lot of talk goes on about how much COVID took from you, class of 2020, and I am not here to deny that. But I want to focus instead on what you have accomplished in the face of obstacles that the world has not seen in over a century. You completed majors, and many of you completed minors. You finished theses and senior exercises. You left campus not sure when you would return, and then you went on to fellowships, internships, graduate school, first jobs, medical school, law school. You volunteered, you became published authors. You learned to cook and maybe started to miss Frary. You made new friends. You found new passions. You've lived. We like to talk about what was taken from you, but I look at all that you've done during the crisis of a lifetime, and I am simply in awe of you. You are amazing, class of 2020. You inspire me to do better and be better. Thank you. Thank you, and here's that other C word, congratulations.